Happy Independence Day to all of you. It's my pleasure to host you all in this webinar. I am muting everybody. If required, I would unmute. So welcome to the Winning and Selling series. And today we are in the 10 commandments of negotiation skills and deal making. This is the second consecutive program. We had a program on July 25th where I had introduced about the concept of winning and selling. Then we had a last session which was on objection handling. And as I promised to you that to launch the course, I would be addressing the negotiation skills part of it as a free webinar. I'm giving out this particular webinar, right? So the content of this webinar is pretty heavy, but I would like to cover as much as possible in these 45 minutes to 1 hour session. For some of you who are attending my webinar for the first time, my name is JVC Sreeram. I've been into the training space for the last 25 years. At a very young age, I jumped into this particular field. I run my own organization called Oral Leadership Foundation. We have presence in multiple countries on 3 continents. And I'm a keynote speaker, corporate training specialist, and also a referral marketing expert, and also an author whose book is getting published on the August 24th, 2020, titled No Reference Point. So we had covered a lot of ground as far as marketing is concerned, from the lockdown time till the month of June end or July beginning. We had done a lot of work as far as relationship marketing, various elements of relationship marketing we have covered. Right now, we have focused on selling skills, because at this point in time, as I keep repeating, one thing is to keep operating in the circle of concern and say that, oh, what's going to happen to economy? What's going to happen to my company? What's going to happen to my employees? Where is the money coming from? Where are the funds? No, most of the things are in your circle of concern. You can't do anything about it. Now, we need to operate in our circle of influence, which are those areas which are in your control, where you can do something about it. And one of the things which is certainly required in this period, at this point in time, is the only way by means of which, whether it's a large corporate or a small and medium or a micro enterprise, or a consultant who is practicing, does not matter. The revenue comes through sales and marketing. And that's the reason why I've been focusing hell a lot on sales and marketing. I'm really proud and happy to announce to you now, it's been almost, she started in the month of April, May, June, July, August, 4 months, and relentlessly, topic after topic, we've been coming out, and the kind of support which people have been giving to me in attending my workshops and webinars, it's amazing. I'm really thankful to many of you sitting here, those of you who have been attending, who have been patronizing this workshop and learning also. And also whenever, I've had to miss out. In fact, I learned from Ivan Meissner. Ivan Meissner, the founder of BNI, Business Networking International, and he was also the author of 16 books. Most of them are New York Times bestseller. In fact, he was telling me one of the meetings which we had way back in 2013 that, you know what, Sreeram, I used to keep sending newsletters. And every month I used to send newsletters in the initial days of my career. And then 1 or 2 months I would stop. I would stop to actually, not that I didn't want to send, but I wanted to know whether people are really looking forward to those newsletters or not. And then I would receive mails from people, hey, why is that you're not sent? I've been looking forward. Okay, fine, which means people are looking forward to it. So I did also do the same thing. A few weeks, I said, okay, let me put a pause. Okay, I've been giving a lot of free stuff, no commitment, but let me put a pause. And then when people came back and asked, why is it, have you stopped taking webinars? I said, no, I just wanted to know whether it's making sense. So wonderful. So I would straight away get into, I'm sharing the screen. 1 second. Yes, I'm sharing the right screen. At this point in time, I would like to express my immense gratitude to Mr. John Koshi, who was there in this webinar, in this room. He is from Dubai, and I need to mention his name at this point in time. because he was instrumental in putting across, sharing with me this kind of slides, which have made, in fact, I've always looked at myself as that I am the speaker, I am the presenter, the spotlight should be on me. Okay. But I realized that, the presentation also should look good. When the speaker is looking good and the presentation is looking good, it's a deadly combination. So express my immense gratitude to Mr. John Koshi. Thanks, Mr. John Koshi, for not only sharing the presentation with us and also training the community members. We have a community called Awesome Community, and training our members in terms of how do we use it. You want to say something, Mr. John Koshi? I've unmuted you for a minute.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for your appreciation and all. So basically, the subject, whatever subject we present, if you present in the proper manner with proper slides and the other things, how you present is also very important, like you said. So I'm just facilitating all our group members who are in that webinar. That's a passion for me. Teaching is a passion for me. Okay, I just wanted to share my knowledge and other things. That's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I think I need to express where the due is. So thank you so much. Right. Okay. So welcome to Winning in Selling. It's a Winning in Selling series, 10 Commandments in Negotiation Deal Making. So what I'm going to do is, this webinar is going to move like this. I'm going to start with the 10 commandments. I'll pick up each commandment. This is not a commandment in the sense, say, like, my typical commandment would read as thou shalt. In public speaking, I have 10 commandments. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's basically 10 points. That's it. So I would just, if I were to take up the entire 10 commandments, obviously it's probably an half-a-day session or a 6-hour session. So I'm going to just run through the major aspect. I'm going to pick up 1 or 2 pieces and probably elaborate a little bit further on it. And I'm sure that at the end of this particular webinar, you would be in a position to go with some takeaway, some outcome. What outcome, I don't know. It could be in terms of out-of-the-box thinking. It could be becoming a better deal maker, or it is to actually find out to whom I should approach in what manner. How do I map the mindset of people? It could be anything. I don't know. So for different people, it can be a different outcomes. So we're going to cover certain points at length, and certain points I'm just going to be brief. And do not expect me to run the entire 10 commandments, because that's going to take a lot of time. And this would be covered at length in the Winning in Selling training program, which is being launched very soon. I'm busy with my book. So once the book gets published, I think I'll be launching the Winning in Selling program. People have been asking me, some of them have been asking me, Winning in Selling is a free program? No, my dear friend. My free webinars are separate, and training programs, there is going to be a cost involved to it. And I would be sharing with you, those of you who had said you may be interested or you are interested, maybe, and yes, I would be sharing with you. So, but now let's get on to the 10 commandments. The number 1 commandment. What is the number 1 commandment? The number 1 is, in fact, certain myths are going to be broken today. Consistency kills negotiation. What do you mean, Sreeram? World is supposed to be, the whole world talks about consistency is the hallmark of a leader. Consistency is most important, and you are saying inconsistency. I'm not saying. The first 2 commandments is not from me. It is from Mark McNonach. I can't pronounce his name properly. The author of the book, What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. He talks about you got to be street smart. And he says none of the institutions and universities teach people to be street smart. And you got to be street smart in negotiation. Example of street smart in sports, Javed Miandad used to be a street smart cricketer. MS Dhoni used to be a street smart cricketer. And these street smartness are not taught in any academy. It comes with experience. It comes when you pick up certain things. The experience is not what happens to you, it is what you do with what happens to you. And that's what. So what is the meaning of consistency kills negotiation? If you are that kind of a person where, as a buyer, you are going to ask 20% discount for whatever price that is being quoted. Now it becomes very easy for the other person. Mark up the price by 20%, and you will ask for 20% discount. I will come to 10%, then I'll come to 15%, then I'll give you 20% of the discount and satisfy your ego, and that's it. But is that the right way? Now, There are certain times where I've done it. In fact, my first company with Coca-Cola, my second client, I've done that. Ritesh Pratap Singh, amazing guy, HR guy. In fact, he was negotiating with me. The first program which we had to do was a series of programs, and he negotiated very hard. I negotiated very hard. It was two bulls fighting with each other, and then we settled for a deal. And I remember to have read this book. I'm talking about way back in 2002. And I remember to have read this book sometime in 1997, 1998, what they don't teach you at Harvard Business School. So I said, okay, fine, let me use this particular thing. I'm going to be inconsistent with this guy from now onwards. Every time I'm not going to be a bull in the China shop. I'm not going to be fighting, because that's going to be exposing my trait and behavior. So at one point in time, he asked me, Sreeram, I need a program tomorrow, and this is the price which we can pay. I said, okay, done. Hey, you're not bargaining, you're not negotiating. I said, no, this is okay. Now, you later in the program, in this webinar, I will tell you on what category it falls and why do I do that. There are parameters which you need to look at. So first thing is, be absolutely inconsistent as far as your behavior is concerned. And the more I'm talking about only negotiation. I'm not talking about anything else. I'm not talking in service delivery. You have to be consistent. In your words, you have to be consistent. But in your negotiating pattern, particularly if your clients are B2B, or if you're dealing with key accounts, I hope all of you understand what is a key account. Key account is with somebody with whom you have deeper relationship, and you keep supplying for a long time. And this relationship goes on. You do cross-selling, upselling, and top-selling. With these kind of people, do not negotiate for everything. Because also understand, negotiation is also not about just money. Negotiation is also about the time. For a consultant like me, an agreement says that I would be involved in 5 to 7 days every month. But suddenly my client's requirement was he required me for more than 15 days. I said, absolutely fine. I'm ready. Now, but the next round of negotiation will come for money. At that point in time, I will be able to leverage it. So number one is consistency kills negotiation. Expect that very important thing which you need to come out with, where you are going to be inconsistent in terms of negotiating. Certain times you will be like a bull in a china shop. Certain times you will fight for the last pie. Certain times you would just say, okay, done. Now, what are the factors and parameters? We'll be looking at it later in the program. Now, I hope if you have agreed, please chat in the tab, agreed and understood. If you have understood or agreed, please type in the chat box, and that will make a lot of difference. Okay, so do not be consistent. Do not be consistent in your negotiation. The other person should not be able to decide and make a brand or a label, put you under a label saying this guy is always a 10% guy. This guy is a 15% guy. This guy, whenever we ask today, he will say tomorrow. So that is what. Number two, which is even more important, because I really believe that a lot of negotiations which happen in big boardrooms, deals happening, those are all, you can't see the cash. In fact, Jack Welch beautifully says, when negotiation happens between two companies on a merger and acquisition, we are negotiating with paper money, not real money. These paper money is what you see in the balance sheet and profit and loss. I know chartered accountants are there sitting in this program. Okay, they might have a different point of view, but the truth of the matter is that those negotiations which happens for 2,000 crores, 3,000 crores, $1 billion, $2 billion, it's all different. Again, what they don't teach you at Harvard Business School, the guy talks wonderfully well. He says the best negotiator. Can you tell me who's the best negotiator? Anybody? Can you type in the chat box, whom do you think is the best negotiator? Who's the best negotiator? Who's the best negotiator? You've seen the best negotiator. You've lived with the best negotiator. Okay. She's there at everybody's home. Mom, exactly. Have a mom's eye. Have a mom's eye. The lady at the home is the best negotiator you can ever think in terms of. And later in the program, you will know why I am saying what I'm saying. Have a mom's eye. And mom is talking with real money. And she will use, there'll be no ego involved with mom. She will ask the sabjiwala, she will ask him to give, if he's quoting 25 rupees, she will ask for 20 rupees, and he doesn't give, he's giving only for 25. And she will understand, from the eye body language itself, she will understand whether I should go ahead, negotiate a little further, bargain a little more, or I should just give up. I should just give up. This is a mom's eye. So what you need to do is you need to have a mom's eye. And she will negotiate everywhere. And if you're gone with your mom to buy anything, okay, and I'm talking about I'm not talking about today's moms. Because today's moms means 27, 28-year-old, they don't know. They buy everything in online. Online, you can't negotiate anything. But I'm talking about that lady who is today 60, 70 years old. Okay. Because I know about my mom. And typically Indian moms, the people who have been born between 1960s and 1980s will understand this better. We were not a very rich families. Very few were rich families. And I have seen my mom, she had literally every day at the end of the night, at the end of the day, we need to literally count how much we had. We used to buy for tomorrow's item on that day only. The rice for the next day will be bought on the next day. The oil for the next day will be bought on that day. I have never gone to a supermarket in my childhood days with a list of items and buy for 1 month and come back. It's not so luxury. So what happens? The mom I'm talking about that 1970s and 80s mom. I'm not talking about today's mom. She knew the value of every rupee. In fact, I still remember my mentor Mahatriya, his mom told me once, you know what, Sreeram? When we were all, when Rajan and all, used to be called as T.T. Rangarajan. We were children. We used to go to uncle's place, and when we come back in the bus, we would get down 3 stops before, because 20 paisa lesser if we get down 3 stops before, and we are 4 of us, and invariably there will be another 2 people who will be there. So 6 of us will be there. If I can save that 1 rupee 20 paisa, I can use it for. And today you're talking about a spiritual leader, his mom. And Rajan would say, I've asked this lady so many times, when the bus comes near our house, why should I get down 2 stops before? She would say, that is the only way we can do exercise. But today I understand that was to save 20 paisa. Now that's negotiation, my dear friend. In fact, if you are somewhere aged around 35, 45, if you have a mom at home, go and tell her and talk to her, ask her tonight. And I think, later in the program, I want you to share if you've had an experience. I've had several experiences like that. So have a mom's eye when you're negotiating. An eye and a heart. And she will not carry. Yesterday, she would have fought with that vendor, that sabjiwala, but the next day, she will talk as if nothing has happened, and it'll go along. There is no ego. So as a result of which, they were able to move along, have deals done, have long-term relationship. And the fishers were lesser. In fact, the mom of yesteryears fought with everybody, but patched up with everybody. If I'm wrong, please correct me. She fought with everybody. With the neighbor, she will fight. With the sabjiwala, she will fight. She will go to the ration shop, she will fight. But she will not carry it. And in the negotiation, this is something which is extremely critical. Extremely critical. We have grandmom, absolutely correct. So some of them are saying, okay. So somebody is sharing also. I will be sharing it a little later. Yes. So have a mom's eye. As I told you, I have a few things which I will dwell at length. So I'm running through a few things. Third, empathy. Empathy. People do not understand what is empathy. In fact, empathy and proactivity are two words which are grossly misunderstood by people. What is empathy? I will tell you what is sympathy, empathy, and apathy. And then in a very simple manner, I will tell you. Sympathy means I understand and I agree. Apathy means I neither understand nor agree. Empathy is I understand but choose to disagree and I communicate my disagreement, even if I have a disagreement. And I try to even convince. So that is what is required in empathy. When you're sympathetic, when the other guy says, I want 30% drop in price, you would say, okay, 30% drop. Who will do business with somebody like you here? I'm walking out. That is apathy. You don't know what is the situation in which he is. And you've broken the deal. In fact, there is another commandment also which is coming in that similar angle. Empathy is understand. And again, mom is the greatest example. The son is suffering from severe dehydration. He has got a stomach bug and guests are coming home and mom is preparing a huge lavish lunch, sweets and whatever you call chicken biryani if you're a non-vegetarian, busy bella bath if you're a South Indian vegetarian, dal bati if you're a North Indian, and she's preparing those nice aroma of it is spreading across the house. And the young boy is crying, Mummy, biryani chahiye, biryani chahiye. Sympathetic mother will feed the child with biryani. Apathetic mother will give a slap and open the mouth of the boy and pour the curd rice as if it is a drainage. Empathetic mother will understand that the child doesn't know that he has got a stomach bug and eating this will get worse. Will understand, but then communicates. Beta, today you have curd rice. I will give you an excellent biryani prepared exclusively for you 2 days from now. But today, if you eat biryani, you will be in Apollo Hospital tomorrow and they will put injections everywhere in your body. And that is where. So what happens? Explanation. So same way, an empathetic negotiator is somebody who would converse, who would connect, who would engage, communicate, and tell. This is what is possible. In fact, a good negotiator will never say what he cannot do initially. He will communicate what he can do and then let the other person ask why he cannot. Okay, I'm looking for a 15% drop in price. He will say, okay, what I can do is probably I can give you 7%. That's the best. Why not 15%? If the customer asks. No, that's empathy. Out of the box. Look at out of the box innovative solution. What I'm going to share an example with you. I really don't know whether it happened or not, to be honest with you. I'm really being honest because I heard this in one of the events when I went as a keynote speaker to Goa, and I was a chief guest and there was another gentleman who was a guest of honor, and the guest of honor spoke, and from what I heard from him, I'm sharing here because I tried to validate this story. I have not been able to. If any one of you had listened to the story and if you think it is real life and if you validate it, that would be even wonderful. 1980s, the market was dominated by, particularly as far as washing soaps are concerned, by multinational companies. Namely, you had Rin, you had Surf, you had Sunlight, and Sunlight was again a lower level brand, but it was again from a Unilever kind of a stable. So there was a homegrown company which came out with Nirma. Those of you who were probably students in 1980s who used to watch Doordarshan, you would be you'd be knowing washing powder, Nirma, a very famous ad, iconic ad. Much before the ad came, the guy had actually produced Nirma at a very nominal cost, and it was only a local guy. He's a Gujarati, and he was negotiating with several people, several transporters, to see whether he can spread this product across the country, but every effort failed because he didn't want to spend a lot of money on transportation, as a result of which the price will go up because every price gets added to it gets marked up to the product. So he was negotiating. It seems, I've heard this story, it seems he had a employee who used to go and deliver to various shops on tricycle. You must have seen the tricycle, and he was a relative. And this guy was even 10th standard, not even 10th standard pass. This guy on the way had seen Syntex drums, which was also the manufacturer was also a relative to Nirma manufacturer. And this guy knew. It seems he had an idea. Syntex drums are going across the country and they are going empty. And he went and arranged a meeting and they negotiated a deal where inside the Syntex drums, Nirma cartons will be put and they'll be transported. And the price of the transport cost would be shared between Syntex and Nirma, as a result of which Nirma's cost of transportation would come down. Now, this is what I call as an out-of-the-box thinking when you are negotiating a deal. There is your way, there is my way, there is a third way. Now, this is what out-of-the-box and collaboration is always required when you are negotiating. Particularly, like say many of you may be negotiating even on behalf of your clients, because I see chartered accountants, some of the chartered accountants must be here in this room, because there is no webinar of mine where few chartered accountants, if they are not there, then I should be shocked and surprised. Chartered accountants, and many a times you will be negotiating on behalf of your client with the income tax officer, with the GST officer or service tax officer. So most of the times it's your way or my way, but there is a third way. And for that, we need to think out of the box. And I don't know whether this is true or not, but Nirma later on became an iconic brand. Advertisements used to come in a big way and became very famous. Somebody is typing the chat box. It seems they're saying yes, Nirma, true. Okay, somebody is saying true. Fine. That's why I know it's being recorded and it'll be coming on YouTube. So as a result of which, I will have to tell that I heard this from one of the panelists there. So that's what I'm saying. Out of the box thinking, which is important. Preempt and be proactive. Proactive means what? Don't be reactive. Preempt what will be the objection and be proactive in preparation, which would help you to negotiate things better. I'll give you a classic example. Sreeram, you're not even talking about money. I'll come to money a little later. Negotiation is not just about money. You have to negotiate everything. Understand, animals fight. Lions fight. Who should control the female lions, the prides? The lions fight. All the animals fight. They don't want to negotiate. But human beings alone can negotiate on anything and everything. Let me give you an example, a perfect example of negotiating as far as preempt and proactive is concerned. This is coming in my book, which is getting published on August 24th, 2020, no reference point. This is coming as a case study. Here is a company when the whole economy is bleeding, it posted 29% raise in operating profit margin. 29% raise in April, May, June quarter. And I mapped this company in the month of May 20th. May 20th, I realized that something is happening in this sector. And chased the head of supply chain. And he shared with me. And this was on May 20th. Because to me, the point is, as an researcher, because this book is born out of research. As a researcher, you need to know to catch the trend. And when you catch the trend, you have to go behind that. We were telling right in the month of May, I have written that agriculture is going to drive the Indian economy. Okay. And today, there are articles getting published in newspapers saying that agriculture, are we entering into the golden era of Indian agriculture? India Today is writing today. But I have written in the month of May 2020 end, that it will be agriculture which will drive. And I've also facilitated I'm talking about why preempting and all those stuff is important. And I'm just giving you I'm going out of the subject, but I just want to share with you something. I've even facilitated a panel discussion where when the automobile industry is bleeding, how can a collaboration between automobile industry and an agriculture industry can happen? And that is also covered in the book. And we're coming out of the box ideas. And one of the things which I learned from this case study was, here was a company which was into essentials manufacturing. As a result of which, when the lockdown happened, They were exempted from the lockdown because they were an essential manufacturer. And they decided that they will go with the Ministry of Home Ministry's notification and go to the local IAS officer, the collector of the district, to say, open the factory. Now, my friend says, you know what? When in the Zoom call, we were all there, we were talking, and one of the guys quickly said, hey, there is going to be an objection. And if you don't have a solution for this objection, even if Mr. Narendra Modi has given permission, we will not be able to operate. They asked, what is that? He said, in the district in which we are in, sanitizers are not available. In the absence of sanitizers, do not expect this collector to give permission. He will not give. You can bring from even Donald Trump the recommendation, he will not give. Then immediately in their brains, they started working on what can be done. Sanitizer is not available locally. Sanitizer, whatever is available is priced high. And without sanitizer, you can't open. In India, we have not used sanitizer. In the district and villages, where have we used sanitizer? It is only because of Corona we are all using sanitizer. Now they went, and when they asked for the permission, the collector refused, saying that you can bring whatever papers you can bring, but there are not enough sanitizers. Even if you're operating with 20% people as in your factory, I will not allow, because in the absence of sanitizers, there will be a bigger attack. So I can't do anything. These guys came out with a brilliant idea. They are not into the manufacturing of sanitizers. They went to the collector and said, here is the recipe from WHO. And we are a chemical manufacturing company. We are an agrochemical company. Yes, we have not manufactured sanitizer till now, but let us open the factory. Allow us to open the factory. We will manufacture sanitizers first, because we have got a recipe and we have got best of the engineers working for this organization, because this is not a small company. This is a 35,000 crore company. Turnover is 36,000 crores. Present in 130 countries. And they said, the first supply, I will give it to all the government officers, hospitals, and policemen. And then we will start the factory. Look at the preempting. What could, and how do you negotiate? You have to negotiate everything. Negotiation is not about just money. You have to negotiate time. And what happened? The IAS said, can you deliver? He said, sir, today we will manufacture 500 liters. In the next few weeks, we will ensure that we will give you 2.5 lakh liters of sanitizer, which will be enough for the entire district. And we will give it free of cost to everybody. Let it go as a CSR, corporate social responsibility. They didn't even ask the board. Now, this is called a preempting. What could be? Because you have to be one step ahead of the other person. Which means in your mind, you've got to play a game. Okay, if I come out with this strategy, what could be the objection from the other guy? If I come out with this, what could be? So if you're one step ahead in the negotiation process, what you bring to the negotiating table is something phenomenal. And my dear friend, don't just think negotiation is all about money. It's not about money. Bargaining could be about money. For power also you bargain, but it is for everything. So preempt. I suppose you understood what is the meaning of preempting and being proactive. When you do this, you are a negotiator of a top class. Avoid killer phrases. Great. I can't do this. At this price, nobody will supply to you. I'm walking away from the deal. I'm sorry, I can't do it. This is not the price I've ever done. I will never do it. No, avoid killer. Because see, understand, later in the program, the last slide, I will tell you, honorably, there are ways to walk out of a deal. You can walk out of a deal, but you should never walk out of a relationship. But when you use killer phrases, and I see it today. In fact, many a times I ask somebody, because I have in my community, there are doctors available and they keep asking me N95 masks, this is what is required, this is the price we require. And I put a message to some of these guys in some of the groups, and immediately, at this price, nobody can supply you, sir. Now, how do you tell me like that? This is a killer phrase. And Many small and medium business owners use killer phrases. When you use a killer phrase, you not only walk out of the deal, you walk out of the relationship. Walking out of the deal is okay, but walking out of the relationship is not okay. So avoid killer phrases. Perception management. And again, this also I'm going to run through. Reality is never a reality. It is a perception which is a reality. What are you looking at? I am looking at Taj Mahal and saying, wow, seventh wonder of the world. Mr. Raghuram Natarajan looks at the same Taj Mahal and says, graveyard. Lopal hai, mundi, andar hai, kya hai? Mumtaz ka dead body hai. He says it's a graveyard. I am looking at it as the seventh wonder of the world. This is the problem with negotiation. You are looking at yourself as providing great value, which you are becoming to it. But the other guy looks at you as a you're another Me Too player. You're also one more supplier. You are thinking you are the Apple of your industry. But he is saying you are an Oppo. You are a me. And you are saying, no, I'm Apple. Now, how do I manage that perception? So that is why I keep telling from April onwards, I've been telling you guys, build your image, build your image, build your image. If you want to go to the next orbit, you have to build your image. So in negotiation, you are managing perception. You must have all seen that photograph, which has been used by Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The same photograph. When you look at it from one way, she looks like an young girl. Another way you look at it, she looks like a 90-year-old lady. So that is what is the perception. I think I can't give you a better example than Taj Mahal. So ask yourself, okay, I'm looking at myself as the seventh wonder of the world, but is the market looking at me as the seventh wonder of the world? Or are they looking at me as a graveyard? Both are right. I repeat, reality is never a reality. It is a perception which is the reality. Oh, staying power. Negotiation is not cricket. Negotiation is not soccer. Negotiation is tennis. Negotiation is not a game of cricket. Negotiation is not a game of soccer. It is not a game of cricket. It is a game of tennis. What is the difference? See, understand, in cricket, 50-over match means match cannot go for 51st over, which means 300 balls, that's all, excluding no balls and wides. Football means 90-minute game, 30-minute extra time, after that penalty shootout. Test match means 5 days, that's all. And we have seen last over, last wicket did not fall, so draw. Tennis match can either get over in 30 minutes or the longest match was played between two guys in the year 2010, if I'm right, at Wimbledon for over 70 hours. A game of tennis for 5 sets lasted for 70 hours. Negotiation is a game of tennis. It can happen. It can happen. It can go on and on and on and on and on. So who has more power to stay without using killer phrase has a better advantage of winning the deal. Please understand, this is not a game of cricket. This is not a game of football. And this is all about staying. In fact, I've done that. I've done that right in the early days of my career. I'm going to share something in the next two commandments are very important. Map the mindset. Those of you who already attended earlier programs, you will be knowing it very easily. But those of you who are attending for the first time, I might have to run through quickly, but still, we always understand that there are different types of people. There are people who are fast-paced. There are people who are slow-paced. There are people who are task-oriented. There are people who are people-oriented. So combination of that, we have categories. Now, based on that, we have some terminologies. So when you're approaching each one, you have to have some one or two qualities which are extremely critical in negotiation. which is what we're going to look at. Map the mindset. I'm going to take a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes on that. And the last one, be a deal maker and not a deal breaker. Why do you become a deal breaker? You become a deal breaker by using killer phrase. By not using killer phrase, you become a deal maker. But deals itself are of different types. What are they? So first I will pick up commandment number 9, which is map the mindset. And then I will go to commandment number 10, which is be a deal maker and not a deal breaker. Listen to me. This part is going to be the thing which can give you an amazing takeaway. So let's go to there are types of people. There are people who are fast-paced and slow-paced, which means there are people who took fast decisions, people who take slow decisions. And then there are people who are absolutely keen on task, kaam karo. And then there are people who want to be with people, extroverted, absolutely people-centric. Everything is all about people. So when you have a 2x2 matrix, this is what you get. So you get go-getter who are fast and task. You have promoter who are fast and people. Then you have nurturer who are slow and people. Then you have examiner who is slow and task. Now each one, when you're negotiating, you have to negotiate with them in a proper manner. But how do I identify them? Quickly, I'm not going to take much time. Quickly. First, I'll talk about identification. After that, I will talk about how do you approach each one of them. Go-getter means fast and task-oriented. These are guys who are driven and decisive. The Narendra Modis and Donald Trumps of the world. These are guys who will directly look into the eye and say, this is what it is. Abundance of confidence. Saurav Ganguly. Abundance of confidence. Direct. Can I get it done or not? Power-centric. Usually occupy large leadership positions. Strong. So with these guys, you have to very, very clearly say what you can and what you cannot. And these guys are quick decision makers. As a result of which, one of the greatest advantage of negotiating with a go-getter is he would want his way. But more importantly, to get that, he will be willing to pay that extra. Now, think of those clients. In fact, many Americans are go-getters, as a result of which I see a lot of Americans telling me, you know what, we say that we are great salespeople, but the point is it is easy to sell to a American because they tend to buy more. These are fast decision makers. So what happens? They are more bothered about I want it now. For that, they will pay a little bit more. They will reveal their cards close. They will throw it. It is up to you to take it. In fact, staying power here is not a great thing. It's not a great thing. In fact, if you waste their time too much, because you said staying power, so each one, it will differ. Staying power here is not a great thing because these are the guys where they will throw their cards and they expect you to throw your card. They want the game to be over very quickly. Now, that's a go-getter. Now, a promoter, a Yuvraj Singh, people must be fun. Now, these are guys where staying power is very important. Why? Because they would like to talk to you. They will talk about business. They will talk about politics. They will talk about sports. They will talk about IPL, but they will not talk about the deal. So as a result of which, staying power becomes extremely critical. And these are guys where they'll promise you a lot, but will not give you great things. Now, that's the problem. They will never tell you no, but they'll keep on hanging. That is a promoter. And these are fun-loving guys. How to identify? They're fun-loving guys. They wear fancy colors, fluorescent colors. That's a promoter. Then you have nurturer. Nurturer is somebody's staying power is extremely crucial. More than promoter. Because they're slow. If you tell them very fast, they will not be able to get it. They are slow in decision making. They will not reveal their cards very close to you. They will keep it with themselves. They will not keep it open. They will read your mind. They will look for inconsistencies in your talk. I'm not talking about inconsistent behavior. In the particular deal itself, yesterday you said something, today you said something. So that becomes. So with the nurturer, you have to go slow. You have to show them value. You have to show them testimonials. You have to convince them that you are the right person. Because they're more bothered about the person than the product. So you have to convince that you are the right person. And these are guys where they will negotiate, but they will not negotiate too hard. They're reasonable people. So how do I identify a nurturer? They will look for stability, calmness. They will talk in a polite manner. They would give respect. They will expect you to give respect. These are the qualities of a nurturer which you can easily identify. They don't walk very fast. They don't talk very fast. The good thing about a nurturer is they will not make you sign a deal where you would be the loser, because they would not want that. So that's a great advantage of working with a nurturer. A go-getter can rip you apart, but a nurturer will not. But staying power is very important. An examiner, my God, negotiating with an examiner is hard, my dear friend. These are guys who will not talk. They're research oriented. They want data. They want numbers. They take a long time to decide. And while negotiating, it can be an excruciatingly slow process. Excruciatingly slow process. In fact, with an examiner, things move so slowly. And they will extract the last pound from you. Because they're task oriented. They're not people oriented. They will squeeze. They'll squeeze your balls. So Sreeram, should I deal with them or should I not deal with them? Now that is where I'm coming to. The deal making which I'm going to speak about, that's very, very important. Because in fact, I can tell you, dealing with a go-getter is the easiest thing. In fact, I still remember the one project in 1994, which made my mentor tell everybody that you want to negotiate, take Sreeram. Now, nowadays, I'm not like that. But those days, I was a hardcore negotiator. Because there was this company called Magunta Aqua Farms, part of Magunta Group. You must have heard of Magunta, very big name in southern India, particularly in Andhra Pradesh and Nellore. And in Chennai, they were too big. He was an MP, the former member of parliament. And they had a project director called Vijay Raghavan. And Vijay Raghavan was considered as the Hitler of that company. And I was given the task of closing a deal with Vijay Raghavan. And everybody was afraid to speak to him. I'm not blowing my own trumpet. But I didn't know at that point of time. Today, he was a go-getter. He will threaten you with his body language. He will say, I want to order right now. If you don't deliver, I don't make big statements he will make. But the point was, I made a deal and I got the deal, the price in my favor. Now, if he was an examiner, I would not have got it. So with a go-getter, you will always have that advantage. Now, because we have another very few minutes, deal-making parameters. What are the parameters which you have to look at when you have to make a deal? Number one is the price. Price, which is the paisa, $100, $200, exact exchange of price. Number two is volume and category. Now, because volume means, when they are giving you a bigger volume, obviously the price will drop. Category, what is a category, Sreeram? In fact, a lot of FMCG companies, I've been a consultant with a lot of companies. So I normally, what I do is, I have certain brands which are called as power brand. Certain brand is called as an emerging brand. Certain brand is called as a commodity brand. Certain brand is called as a baby brand. In a power brand, I get a lot of profit margin. In an emerging brand, I don't get a lot of margin. In commodity, I get nothing. So when I'm negotiating for a power brand, I may give a little bit more discount. When I'm negotiating for a baby brand, I will give a little more discount. Typically because I make more money. And if the volumes are high, I make more. So that is another thing which you need to keep in mind when you're deal making. Third is credit terms. Now this is far more important because one of the biggest problem now is credit terms. And now there is no point in doing business at 120 days, 150 days credit, particularly. And this is one of the problem you have. In fact, the smartest business guys are, I will give you a discount, but the price terms have to be on my own. Right? I did a program for RATA, which is Refrigerators and Traders Association. And most of the people complaining was only the credit terms. So you need to keep in mind the credit terms. The next is share of pie. What is a share of pie? If you're dealing with Amazon, now Amazon might have multiple suppliers, out of which what is the share you are getting? Based on the share, if somebody is giving you, if a Deloitte or Amazon is giving you 70% of their business, then the way you will deal with them is different. Because Coca-Cola was giving 100% of their training requirements to me, as a result of which I was able to offer more things for them. And then you have a last thing. If you're an FMCG company, you may be having it called SKU. What is an SKU? Stock keeping unit. Certain SKUs, holding them itself will cost you a lot of money. In fact, most people don't understand what is the holding cost. In fact, there is a company to which I was a consultant for 3 years. After that, I disagreed and dissociated with them. I walked away from the client. The name of the client is Nakumat Supermarkets. In 2014, I walked away. Eventually, they closed down. Kel Khatam Dukhan Band. One of the problems with that company was always SKU. They had SKUs like furniture, which used to be held for more than 365 days in the store. And how do you make profit? Now, I used to tell them that, and the owner of the store is a mega store. It was a $750 million enterprise, and it fell. It fell like 9 pence. Now, I used to tell him, Akku, you are selling these things once in a year. Once in a year, you'll put a sale. I would tell him, in 2013, I would tell him, every month have a sale. Because certain SKUs you can't hold. So based on these, you will do deal making. Because I talked about deal maker and deal breaker. So we'll come to that. So what are the types of deals? Number one, dream deal. Always when you go for a deal, this is not from any book. This is my own experience. My own experience. Particularly from the experience I gathered in negotiation during my IT times. I came out of this. Every time, even now, I have what is called as a dream figure. If I get at this figure, I will do everything for my client. Dream deal. That's the number one deal. Now, always have a figure on your mind. And these are all based on those things, price, various things I spoke about. All these comes into picture. So first is a dream deal. And when you enter into a negotiation, you need to have this. Desirable deal. What is a desirable deal? If I get this, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. Okay, because you can't get dream deals every day. We used to have a saying in Tamil, which means what? Every day in temple you will not get prasad. Only someday you will get ghee prasad. Okay, someday you will get only water as prasad. So desirable deal is, so dream deal will not come every time. So next is a desirable deal. Third is an acceptable. Okay, this deal, this figure, I'm only talking about the price, credit, everything. This is an acceptable deal. Now up to this is okay. Because I still remember, after a few webinars was over, there was one guy who was chasing me, the CEO and the HR head and the marketing head. They will come on, they'll keep attending. And they kept calling me, saying that Sreeram, we have attended your webinar and we want to sign up with you. We want everybody to be trained by you. I said, oh, I'm more than happy, and I gave them a proposal. I understood their proposal and I asked them, do you want all these things? We want everything. So I gave a proposal for one figure. Say 40,000 rupees, I gave a figure. They wanted 10,000 rupees. I said, okay, 4 hours if I want 40,000. You do one thing, I will give you for 1 hour, give me 10,000. It is okay. He said, no, I want 8 hours at 10,000. Now I have my deal making parameters. This was neither a dream, this was neither a desire, this was neither acceptable, and this was not even compromise also. Because what is a compromise deal? Okay, these SKUs are not moving fast, so let me make a compromise. At this price, when I do this service for this company, it gives me an entry into a big company. So I compromise. They are giving me 100% advance, so I'm accepting this deal. Compromise deal there must be some strong reason why you are getting into the deal. So compromise you're making. And then you need to also have rock bottom. Anything below this, I will not compromise. Now a compromise deal should also have a rock bottom. But Sreeram, then what happened to that client? No deal. Many times you can say, at this point in time, I don't think I'll be in a position to offer my service to you. I don't think this was feasible. I don't think I can deliver value to you. So allow me to please get out of this deal. Now understand, I am walking out of the deal, but I'm not using killer phrases. When you are entering into every, in fact, with that go-getter, I got a dream deal. Okay. Because I thought it was a desirable deal, but it was a dream deal. My boss had kept that he will get only acceptable deal. Rajan had kept an acceptable deal. And I thought he had marked up by a certain percentage, but he had kept a desirable deal and he marked it a certain figure. And I got a dream deal because I didn't give the discount which even my boss was expecting, because the client wanted it something very urgent. So dream deal. Dream deal will happen. For some of you in service, it may happen once in a year, twice in a year. That's it. A lot of acceptable deal and a few desirable deal, 1 or 2 dream deal, and a few compromise deals which allows you an entry into an organization. No rock bottom deal will ensure that your business will move fast and better. But for that, Sreeram, negotiation, yes, you need to understand the value management. There are 3 things which are involved. One is the price. When somebody says it's very expensive, I tell them, you're telling me the price or you're telling me the cost, because there's a difference between price and cost. Okay. In fact, this is what it is. You have to, when people say your price is too high, is this price too high? Mirror probe, modulate your voice, or ask them one question. Are you talking about the price or are you talking about the cost? And both are same. No, not from a chartered accountant angle. CS, please don't come here. I'm only saying price and cost. What is the difference is price means I pay once. Cost is per usage what it is. That is what I mean. I don't mean the costing of the chartered accountant. If I buy a blazer, the blazer cost me 5,000 rupees. And that particular blazer, I can wear it for 500 times and still it will be absolutely good. No problem. It will look fresh. Now, calculate what is the cost. 5,000 divided by 500, because 500 times I'm using, just for an example. Cost is 10 rupees per wear. On the contrary, I'm buying something for 1,000 rupees and it comes for how many times? It hardly comes for, after 3 times, the button comes out. I do like this, it gets torn here. Now, 3 times, what is the cost? 333 rupees. Now, so in fact, I had a client called Menon. I think I spoke about him last time also. We did a complete training program on his product was priced high, but his cost we established was much lower compared to the competition. So that is what it is. So price, cost. Next is what is the value he's getting? Is a triangle. And whenever you are negotiating, talk about the outcome. Outcome. In fact, when people ask me, I tell them, see, can you put a price for your ability to speak like a Barack Obama or Narendra Modi? Can you put a price for your ability to go up the stage and speak in front of thousands of people with abundance of confidence? Can you put a price for growing your company at 30% in a recession period? What would be the price? What would be the price? You can't repay, my dear friend. That's what I would say. In fact, I have my clients, Ascentive Pro clients, some of them are sitting here. It's an expensive program. I'm not saying the price wise it's costly, but value wise, outcome wise, cost wise. In fact, Zig Ziglar used to always say, never buy a cheap product, because when you buy something cheap and the product doesn't work, you lose the money and you lose the time also. So as a result of which, never buy. Cheap is expensive. Write down big and paste it in your organization, in your office. Cheap is expensive. So last week we spoke about this. When the price is too high, actually what it is, your price is too high means I challenge you to prove that there is value for money. So price, from price you move to the cost, and from there you move to the value part of it. That is what you need to do. So we have looked at 10 commandments. We have looked at a couple of things, and I know that I've taken a little bit more time than usual. The idea is to give you slight introduction, because as I told you, I'm coming out of the winning and selling training. It's going to be for 24 hours, spread over 10 sessions. It's going to be priced around 10 to 15,000. That's the kind of pricing it'll be. It'll be 10 sessions, and I'll be coming out with the exact pricing, dates and everything very soon. But this is the time for feedback, and this is my contact details. And I expect every one of you to be here next week. And by Monday, August 24th, I'll be launching my book. And it would be my pleasure if you can join, and I would be honored by your presence. And I would also share certain coupons with the participants of that program. It's going to be absolutely free of cost, so that you get some discounts in Amazon and various other places. But before I close the program, I would like to hear a few words from you. And I would also like to have your feedback written in the Google page. I'm stopping the share. I'm typing in the chat box. Oh, sorry. Everyone, yes. So I would be happy to hear, I would be happy to unmute you. If you raise your hand, any questions you have, you can ask me. I would be more than glad to share my perspective. And again, this is a quick session. It's a big subject, but I'm just covering what I could cover in just a span of 1 hour. So I'm hearing some, please send the feedback link. I've already sent it. Suma Bindu Al-Tluri is saying, very thoughtful session, great and excellent session. Sivasubbu, Mr. Raghuram Natarajan, very good session. Thank you for the tips which I take away from the session. Excellent, sir. Balamurugan, useful session. All the best for your book launch. G. Ranjit, love to join your program. Yes, sure. More than happy. Now, if I can unmute, and if you are in an okay position, please keep yourself unmuted. If there is a lot of sound around you, please mute yourself. I've unmuted everybody.
Sir, thank you very much for your session. It was wonderful.
Mr. Kiran? Yeah.
Yes.
Is it
I don't
Mr.
have
Kiran?
any, yeah, I don't have any questions at this time. But
Okay.
yeah, but it was a wonderful session. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Sreeram sir, good evening. Shankar here.
Good evening, Shankar.
So I
How are
had
you,
one
sir?
question. Good,
Yeah,
good.
please go ahead.
Fantastic. Yes, I had a question that
Yeah.
suppose you make a proposal for a dream deal.
Yeah.
Client negotiates, you negotiate. Finally, maybe you settle at an acceptable deal.
Yeah.
And at that point, if the difference is large, won't the client feel, had he accepted for the dream deal, he would have been taken for a ride?
No, so what is the percentage you keep? That is something which you have to have in your thought process. You can't have a huge gap between a dream deal and an acceptable deal. One. Number two, sometimes what happens is that with every client, I will not put a dream deal as my base price.
Plan A.
I may start with a desirable deal. If it is going to be give me an entry. If I know that it is going to be a major company and there's going to be a lot of work involved, there is going to be a long-term proposition, I will give a dream deal as my quote, and then I would keep the window open saying that I will have to give justification, right? Because your company, because of your organization, I can use your name, as a result of which I'm going to give you the special deal for you. In fact, I'm being honest here, Shankar. Sometimes I would quote my figure, dream plus 20% is my quote. Okay. And then I would reduce it by 20% and say, for you, this is the price I'm giving.
Yeah.
And sometimes they accept.
The client always likes some discount on, he likes to be on the winning side of the negotiation. We need to give him satisfaction.
Exactly. In fact, it's happened to me recently. It's a client of mine. I know pretty well that they will give me the CEO is a good friend of mine, and we are starting the program next week. I had quoted dream deal plus 20%. And there itself in the proposal, I said, for everybody else, this is the price I'm quoting these days. But for you, I'm offering it to you at this price. And fortunately, they didn't negotiate.
Great. The 10 commandments slide, can you just
no, I will do one thing. No, for a moment you wanted. Okay, no problem. One second.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
One minute. I'm putting it as a slideshow. 1 minute. Yeah. Fine?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sreeram.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
It was really insightful and it was very thought-provoking session. I know it is a abridged session. In spite of it, it was very power-packed. A longer session, we would have been much more knowledgeable at the end of the session.
Yeah. 100%. Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to be short on this presentation. Maybe we'll have a longer program in future.
Yeah.
And one more important thing, Shankar, because you're not attended my programs before, one of the things which I always speak is outcome. Gone are the days where people buy benefits, people buy service, people buy solutions. Never people have bought features. Today, people buy only outcomes.
Correct.
What is the outcome that they can get out of dealing with you? That's all. Particularly with professionals.
Yes.
And if I can mention that, in fact, one of my Ascent2 Pro participant, I think we have Venkatram Talluri here, who's also an Ascent2 Pro participant. Another participant by Suchin, he said, these days, Sreeram, in the last 3 months, all my proposals are going with outcome. If you remember, Venkat was telling on this Tuesday, all my proposals are going with, if you go with this package, these are the outcomes you can expect.
Yeah.
It's not about visibility. It is about you will get thousands. He's a social media marketing guy, digital marketing guy.
Yeah.
And people want to know exactly what will be the outcome. And that will make a lot of difference. All the best for your book. I joined late. Can you please? Yes, I'm going to share the slides. I'm going to share the YouTube link with all of you. This is something which I've started the practice. I may stop any point of time because some people are thinking that, okay, anyway, if I register, I will get the link. So I may not do that all the time, but today I will do it. Today I'll be sharing the YouTube link with all of you. Any other question anybody has will be great. Mahindra T says, all the best for your book. Join late. Can you please share the slides? Yes, with video itself, I'll share. Anand Badmanaban, thank you very much for some great insights. Thank you so much. Srinivas Rao, all the best for the book, and I'm interested in your course. Very good. Thank you very much. Venkatram Talluri, yes, sir. Wonderful. So any other inputs anybody has? And I think, I'm going to share I don't know that Mr. Jay Kumar is there or not. Okay. Mr. Jay Kumar had shared this, so I'm sharing with you all. Sometimes staying a little longer makes a lot of sense. Oh, I don't know how to share this. He had shared let me download it. He had shared the what they don't teach you at Harvard Business School as in the chat box. I think it'll be extremely interesting. If you can read that book, it'll be amazing. One of the smart books it is. Okay. How do I share it?
I think Jay Kumar is there.
Is Jay Kumar here there?
Yeah.
If Jay Kumar is there, then I can ask him to share. Yes, I'm still there. If you can't, if you want, I can. Yeah, please share the file, Mr. Jay Kumar. That will be useful for a lot of our people. It's an amazing book. It's one of the best books you can ever read because it's about being street smart. It's not about all the fundas. He talks about a lot of practical things, experiences he has gone through, and that's how it will be. Great. Yes, Mr. Raghuram, you are coming after a long time.
Yes.
Any comments? Anything you would like to share?
See, I can tell you one thing, sir. See, all the 10 points, whatever you have covered,
Yeah.
I have experienced it with a person called Mr. T. Shankar. You know, he was our
Wipro?
He was,
Sorry, was he from Wipro?
No. He's
Okay.
He was from. See, he was a personal manager, and I was fortunate enough to be in the LTA negotiations with him.
Okay.
And I have seen Shankar 7 times. You know, 7 into
Okay.
3, that is 21 years.
Okay.
Okay, not one LTA negotiation failed and went into a kind of an unrest.
Okay. Okay.
So every single point, the staying power which you were talking about, the
Yeah.
way, you know, we had LTA negotiations for 18 hours, 20 hours, and, you know, it went on almost to 36 hours also. You
Yeah.
know, not giving up, but at the same time being firm and ensuring that you get your way. I think I've learned quite a few of this you know, during my tenure. And
After
it
my
was a
book
kind of a
launch
reiteration of you know, whatever I have seen it in practice.
Yeah. After my book launch is over, probably I would like to get into a Zoom interview with you about Mr. Shankar.
Yes.
Maybe some more insights because probably I may.
He was like Yudhishthir, you know, and absolutely rock steady. There was on the other side you had the violent, you know, abusive workforce, the union committee, and unruffled. We were all boiling, and we wanted to give up, but for 18 hours the man was, you know, unruffled, absolutely rock steady. I think that is a trait which has to be developed as a personal manager to handle this kind of situations.
Exactly. In fact, there is another thing which I always talk about in negotiation, which I had not mentioned today. It's about being in the silent zone and violent zone.
Yes.
You know, that's another very important thing, you know, because as you said, you know, there's a violent zone and there's a silent zone.
Yes.
Now, when two beggars meet, only beggary will accrue. When two violent people meet in negotiation, nothing happens. It's like an animal, two animals fighting.
Correct.
But that's where the human being in us comes out. The animal is violent. Now I go silent.
Yes.
And I stay there. I absorb everything.
Yes.
It's like Rahul Dravid. That's it. That's the example I can give. You know, you
and I can quote that for a single 1 rupee biscuit packet which was served in the night shift, which was costing 4 rupees. The union people wanted a 5 rupees biscuit packet, and it was a 9-hour full night negotiation. And still we won it by just giving only that 4 rupee biscuit packet. It was not about that 1 rupee, but it was just to, you know, to make sure that they just had to be diffused at every point.
No, the perceptions matters. No, the perception is formed now. Now, okay, so if I ask something, I'll get my way.
Yes.
In fact, sometimes parents do not give it. It's not that they don't want to give us, but they want to. When a kid asks, they don't want to give because the kid will get into a habit.
Yes. That is the main.
That is far more important.
Correct.
So, any other questions? You know, that's a nice insight. Any one of you, you know, I'm not able to do the research on Nirma, how true it is or how not true. if any one of you are tech savvy in a big manner in terms of internet, I've tried my level best, but right search words have to be put. Probably if one of you can share it, it'll be great.
I think Nirma, as such, they did all the possible things, out of the box thinking to try and save every penny possible in whichever way. They went into backward integration, manufactured acid slurry to save that cost, and they put up caustic soda plant. Everything they did to ensure that their cost of production is as low as possible, and they don't give up on every bit of opportunity.
And that was the only way means of which they could fight against the Unilever.
Yes, yes.
Ujjwala and Nirma, both.
Yeah, Ujjwala came much later, much later.
Much later.
About 10, 15 years later.
Karshan Bhai Patel. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Karshan Bhai. Yes. So it's 7:15. Thank you so much. I have a session tomorrow on interviewing skills hosted by my good friend and my student. And, I don't know where is associate. It's for the chartered accountants and the CFAs and the CMAs and all those people. It is being hosted by, let me give an example, Sanjay Sharaf Educational Institute. And by the evenings, with still around more than 14 hours to go, we have close to around 695 registrations as of now. So I have a big session coming up tomorrow. So I'll announce the details very soon about the winning and selling. Thank you so much. Stay safe. That's the most important thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay safe. Stay absolutely safe. Don't take things for granted. I might have to go on an isolation because there has been an unfortunate event which happened in my family, and other members had gone to participate in the funeral of my uncle, my cousin's father, and one of the persons who came there was today tested positive in Nellore, and they're all coming back. So it's all chaotic. We are not like the way in which Mr. John Koshi is sitting at Dubai. Okay, things are much better there for now, but IPL may trigger quite a few things. So stay safe. Good night. Stay safe. All the very best. And please do come next week. And I'll inform, Book My Show may be hosting the event as far as my book launch is concerned. Right?
Absolutely.
So no reference point. Thank you. Good night. Loving you all. Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Good night.
Bye. Mr. John Koshi, presentation was okay today?
Yeah. That two slides, 2 or 3 slides could have been changed.
Yeah, no time. As I told you, I had to just go for an ECG and come back.
Yeah, only because it clearly shows the difference between the normal slides and
between Mr. John Koshi and between Sreeram.
Not like that. It's like going through a smooth road and going into a gutter and then coming up. Correct. Feeling was there.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Good night then. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.